Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it is Cypher Sigma here. It's a weekend, so it's a movie review time, and obviously, probably what everyone is talking about. It is Dune Part 2. So, yes, so hopefully, people come to this. You would have seen Part 1, so you know what's going on. This is basically about a planet called Arrakis, where they have this chemical called spice. It is within the sands, and the government have a kind of clan who used to mine it, the Harkonnens. Unfortunately, they were basically cast off, and House Atreides were then taken to look after this. Unfortunately, the Harkonnens betrayed the Atreides by order of the basically governor of space. Most of the Atreides died, except for Paul Atreides and his mum, who managed to escape into the desert and meet the locals. And that is where we saw part one. This is the journey of Paul Atreides kind of becoming the kind of saviour who they suspect he is. It is his journey as he meets and kind of integrates within the local people, how his mum kind of becomes a deity. And then it's kind of them having a big battle against the Harkonnens to overthrow him. That's the gist of it. There is nothing after the credits, and I will give you one little bit of advice. So if you're watching this, it does leave a few questions open. There is more than likely, probably, I would imagine, we're going to get a third part. So just be aware of this, of when you go in it ain't the full conclusion. There still will be stuff unresolved. There still will be questions to ask or answer. Anyway, spoiler review, and let's get into it. So yes, so as I said, we start off with Paul Atreides, apologies, and his mum in the desert. Obviously, they're being hunted after most of their race has been exterminated. They're with the Sand People and stuff, and this is where Paul has his kind of relationship with Zendaya, who he's been dreaming about for most of the first movie. You find out his mum is pregnant with his little sister. You don't really get to see her except for she communicates with her mum later on. Paul being the kind of deity or kind of godlike person he is. Javier Bardem's character basically kind of puts the emphasis on him that he is like, he will become their saviour and stuff like this. And it's kind of the first like hour or so of the film is them growing, him learning the ways of to be kind of one of them so he can be accepted because they have their different factions. This is all situated in the north of the planet. We also find out south of the planet is covered with sand. No one believes there's humans that survive, but it's actually massive clans. So obviously they get taken in. The mum has to become a deity because their deity is basically dying, and she takes it on, and then they realise there's possibly a mistake because she's pregnant. Anyway, so she goes the religious kind of route of this movie and spends most of the time kind of spreading the message of Paul, and he will be within the people while Paul is out there training with kind of the troops side of things. Why you have this going on, the Harkonnens, Batista's character, he is trying to find him, and unfortunately doesn't do a very good job. This then leads to the character who played Elvis, I cannot remember his name, I'll put a picture up there. Yes, he is then chosen by the head Harkonnen to basically fulfill their mission and eradicate everyone, so they can just do. The whole plan of this is the rebels are basically destroying their ships and stuff, and they're spice ones, so they're not able to produce much of it, and that's kind of where they make their money and stuff like this and become filthy rich. This is as it goes on, and unfortunately it kind of comes to a Atreides versus a Harkonnen, a one-on-one battle to decide who will win. Atreides wins. He basically then takes on a kind of an official representation of that, and that he sacrificed his relationship with Zendaya to marry what would be the future queen, which is Florence Perth, or however you pronounce her name. Obviously, the kid sister of Black Widow from the Marvel movies, and that she is in this, and obviously Paul Walker. Christopher Walken plays her dad, who's kind of like the head. This leads that he wins the battle. He takes over the army of Arrakis and the Harkonnens and the Sand People, and then basically all the other clans of the world are in space, and he goes off to fight this big battle while Zendaya kind of very angrily strolls off into the desert looking for a sandworm to ride off. And that is the gist of it. I try not to give away too many twists and turns and stuff. There are stuff I've deliberately kept out because I want to keep the stuff. So what did I think of this? I did really, really like this movie. If you like the first one, definitely. This is not a carbon copy. It has elements there, but the feel is the same. The direction is the same. The actors and stuff like that. The story, it is all great. It goes along the same sort of path. I say there's a few twists and turns in there, but you know, it is a nice story, and for almost 3 hours it is enjoyable to sit there and watch it. I watched it very late and I still, I didn't fall asleep or anything, so it shows you that it wasn't boring enough for me. I'm going to rate this here and rate it 8 out of 10. There are people who follow my channel who know what I'm like. I specifically, even though this is, people say that I should be a 9, it should be a 10 or something, because this is a franchise movie, because you can't sit down and watch part 2 and go, oh my god, that is an amazing. You need to watch 1 to appreciate it. There's so much in it, and with that, I don't think it will ever be a 9 or a 10 in my eyes. 2, I did come out a little bewildered, the same as I did with 1. With 1, by the time the end of it, you come out and you're kind of like, I feel like I was so engrossed within the story that there was stuff that was left apart, or not finished, and that's how I come up with 1. Obviously, not realizing 1 was part 1 until I got there and it comes up with part 1, and obviously I think that kind of threw my mindset a little bit. 2, again, it ends, but it's a very much of it's going kind of one way and you see it, and then there's a very kind of 180 twist at the end that Paul's like, no, screw it, I'm going to marry the queen, we're going to rule this and go like there. And for me, I was like, it feels like there was something missing there, which is probably what's going to be a movie for and the whole Zendaya thing of being close with her and saying his life and him being a person of his word. I feel like that kind of was a bit heartless for him to do that and not even warn her and stuff like this. And yeah, and I kind of like, I enjoyed it. I came out, but I came out feeling like there was unresolved questions in this and stuff. And this is why I'm making everybody aware as watchers, there is more to come. More than likely, this is done really well. I mean, I must admit, the hype was doing my nutting as well. I'm a big fan of the first movie and I look forward to it, but everything was being shoved at your face is really good, and that I want to make my own decision because that's who I am and stuff like this. So I must admit, maybe my expectations were lowered a little bit going into this because of all the hype. Like, I couldn't get away from people singing it and, oh great, it's been reviews. It's like, I don't care, I don't look at reviews, I go and make my own decision. But anyway, that has been my review for Dune Part 2. Have you seen this movie? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. This has been my review of Dune Part 2, and I shall see you in the next one.